previously. And then Dr. was just going through a couple things that I noticed we didn't talk about. The farmer service fees for Woods to Ring.
Yeah, that's just what they call their billing. So when we comes, some of the students that attend that as part of their IEP programming.
Got it.
That's how they bill it.
Got it. Okay, I don't remember seeing it.
I think we have previously used their services, but gone through an administrator called
That
ILC.
contract, yep.
So that was integrated.
I remember we switched over, so we'll start seeing it like this going
So this
forward.
is what the billing will look like instead of ILC. You won't see ILC at all.
Okay, got it. And then, last month, quite a few charges at ESU 2 and 3, and then this month, quite a few as well. Can you kind of just general high level talk through those a little bit for us?
Yes, you will see that ESU 3 on a regular basis, the student services for Brook Valley Speech and Vision. Because that is, we've got some students who are there. And then there's August and September, that was just a late billing on that. So if you see our ESU 2 bills, those they bill quarterly. That is for a contract with a special education teacher that we have who is here in the building. And then ESU 3 is for off-site students this year. They're attending school there. That will go down a little bit in January. We'll only have one student instead of two.
And then I know we talked about this on the gym inspections and gym resurfacing. I tried looking throughout the year. Maybe this is a better question when Mr. Shada gives his report, but I couldn't find the same charges at the same time of year. So I'm trying to get more clarification on what that looks like on a cyclical basis.
Yeah. So I know every fall when we're in between seasons here, the sports facility management, they're that one. Our maintenance, they come and they inspect the basketball hoops and they make sure that the bleachers come out right. It's like the electronic things that pull those hoops up and down are in working order and they do any repairs. So that always happens about this time of year. And then the floor resurface, that's like the wax finish, or not wax, but it's the coating that they put on the floor. They do that every year. This time before we do that. I'm trying to recall if we do the second one before graduation, but we for sure do it.
Okay, is that different than what we do in the summer? We do a whole strip.
Not every summer.
Okay.
We did 2 summers ago, and we redid. Remember when we redid? We took everything down,
Yeah.
sanded it all off, we detailed it.
Yeah.
So this is just we probably do this. We do it in the summer too. We don't typically do a full on like that.
I think the waxing happens twice a year. I think it happens in the fall, winter, and then happens in the summer, unless we do the whole thing.
So
doing the whole thing happens like once every.
when you say resurfacing, you're referring to the wax.
It's not it's wax. They strip down like a layer of wax or whatever, then they do wax.
Got it.
It's for the tackiness of the athlete's shoes and things like that.
And where was that item? That's not under the inspection side, right?
No, that's sports maintenance, that's the sports facility maintenance alphabetically at the bottom there.
Oh.
That's for the hoops and things like that.
Did they do a lot of repair that we know of?
The inspection is part of it, and then there are repairs. Yeah, so there's like both. They have a fee to come out and do the inspection. It's required for us, and then there are other repair fees as well.
Well, I'm hoping they did a fair amount of repairs and they charged us $4,500.
There might be, that's what they charge us, though. I mean, we had those conversations, like maybe that would be a good side hustle for somebody.
Okay.
And that's something that happens every year.
Yes.
I couldn't find it. That's why I was, Jen, that's why I was asking it in previous. I looked in September, October, like I just couldn't.
It should be, sometimes it's December or January, it's usually when it's,
Sometimes it happens over the summer. It just has to happen.
it has to happen once a year.
In the school.
Got it. Okay. Got it. Okay.
We can go back through it. It's probably, rather than going through board meetings, we'll just go and find the bill from last year and see what it was. So if you see.
I was just, I thought
Hold up.
we see so many charges, it's hard to remember all this stuff. I was just more curious on the cycle, what that looked like. And I didn't, there must have been maybe not some consistency in when it was happening, to your point. Maybe it happened in summer. I remember seeing it in summer. I don't remember this year.
And then evening is the other one, Steve, that's.
Yeah. Well, I was just concerned with the dollar amount because I thought,
Yeah.
see, but if they're doing
It's both
repairs
gym floors too. Well,
inclusive.
yeah, the, the budget percentage figures, there was a hiccup with the budget out. Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
that?
I should have it tomorrow for you. The budget is uploaded into the system. There was 2 codes that we couldn't figure out why they were throwing an error, and it was because they were entered after I rolled the new year over, and on September 2nd, it wasn't picking those up, so we figured that out separate. And I wanted to talk to Carrie when she was here, because they just gave a map of the finance system that she's going to help me with, so that I don't have to make so many adjustments. And I wanted to make sure that we didn't have to do that before I posted the budget, so. I just wanted to, that's why it's not on it, because I didn't want to go a step and then not be able to do that mapping.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions on the check register, any, items of expenses on that?
Those are the ones that I have questions on.
And then I did want to highlight on the activity balances of page 7, the transfer, you'll notice in parentheses, the fund line item. That is not cleared yet, so that's why you still see that balance, at 38,000 and change. So that should next month go down quite a bit, for that transfer we recently did. So I just wanted to highlight that. Any other budget-related financial questions? With that, I'll entertain a motion. Consent agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
Steve, moved and second. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Brian Locker,
Yes.
Steve Slagos, Shannon, Jason Burke,
Yes.
Kathy Plessner,
Yes.
Chase Carter.
Yes. All right, motion carries. And item 4, administration reports. I will turn it over to Dr. Lewis here.
Yep, so we're going to have a more in detail guest report in January, but what I have attached for you here is the APS information. The reason is from the time that the information was released and we start doing that comparative analysis that Tasha always presents. It was big Thanksgiving break, they released it during Thanksgiving break, and you had a short week, and so she's still working on that because it does take some time. So what I have attached for you is our A+ classification. So you can see what they give us in the district snapshot. This is what the public sees on the A+ website. You can go into further detail on all of these if you go to the live website. But for now, it's got certain things like student membership and the amount of teachers we have. So we have more certificated staff than that, but they discount, like, they want just like teachers teaching subject areas and grade levels, so they don't have some people that we have on our master agreement, like our guidance counselors and school psychologists and things like that. So 58 students, so few English learners that they mask it, because if you have fewer than 10, they don't show you that. Reduced lunch rates, which are, I think, slightly down a little bit. You know that the federal government changed how you qualify, so that might account for some of that. Rate of gifted and special education, you see both of those, and they give you right underneath. And then for peers as well. Which is nice to see that slightly above the state average and our peers average. Dropout rate is still low, that's masked as well. Graduation rate cohort data, they're going to tell us later on in this report, is from the 23-24 year, not the 24-25 year. And then our college going rate, if you also compare that to, and that's 2-year or 4-year college going rate, so slightly ahead of the state and of our peers, so that's nice. Have the financial data released on that yet, but they do have our overall performance in English language arts, math, and science, and then on the ACT. So if you look at that, where our ELA scores 70% proficient, so they're giving us proficiency. It's 59% of the state and 67% of our peers. So that's good news. For instance, math, 73% proficiency versus 58% of the state and 71% of peers, also good news. And then science, 90% proficiency compared to 80% of the state. So those are all good things there. ACT is specific to the 11th grade only, so proficiency rate there in English language concerns us a little bit more, but again, it's well ahead of the state average. And then, or the state percentage, right in there, just a little bit under our peers. Math, 69% compared to 40 to 54. And then again, science, 70% compared to 48 to 58%. So we're really pleased with that broad picture of our data. If you scroll down a little bit more, then it gives you our status there, which, if you recall, there's excellent, there's great, there's good, and there's needs improvement. So excellence is as good as they tell us that we can get. This is our third year in a row with that ranking. The 2 years prior to that, so 5 years, we went great, great, excellent. And then if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's some pieces in there that they don't quite have rolled in yet right now. Certain things, positive partnerships, post-secondary is not ready yet, transition, student achievement, growth. Those are all things that they're measuring, but they're not affecting like our APS classifications yet. And some of it they have not rolled into anything at all. Like they're not even collecting that data yet. They're trying to figure out, like if it says in development, they're still trying to figure out how to collect that data and how to make it make sense. And then so our final classification would be after adjustments. So those last 2 pages are things that eventually could adjust your either up or down, but there's no adjustments there. So we end with a nice excellent ranking. Again, if you go to the Department of Education website and you look for the Nebraska Education Profile, on the right-hand column, that's where you find this data. You just search for a school.
Very good.
So 702 comes from when was it snapshot taken? I thought we
That
were
would
on
have been-
713.
That would, yeah, so 702 would have been the October 1st shot of 2024. So depending on
Oh,
mobility,
20.
2024, yeah, depending
It's about
on
a year
mobility.
behind.
Yeah. Yeah, because our 2025 one's still going up. All right, Mr. Shida and Mr. Kingston are concerts in there, so we'll entertain any questions that you have about this.
Is there any concern with our ELA scores for standing, that we're at 70? I mean, it's just a little bit low.
I mean, we're always concerned about all of our data.
Yeah.
And there's subgroups too, also that we watch a little bit more. We've talked about the ATSI status, which is a specific subgroup of our learners in middle school that are identified as being special needs. And so we definitely need to continue to work and show growth on those. It's a tough assessment. 70% is a really good rate of proficiency on there, but we are always concerned about every group. That's why we have things in place like maps throughout the year and fast grids, which we phase out in iWriting now to make sure that we're continuing to show growth in all of those, I can't think of the word that I say, progress type-based assessments throughout the year, and then the interventions that go along with them. So we make sure that, because it's not just a measure of how many students you have proficient, but the state does want to see continued growth overall every year too. So that means they want you to keep getting better, which is the point.
Do we know year over year easily, or where are we trending in EL? Is that ACT score?
I have-
Oh, I think we're talking about 2 different things here,
Oh.
Dr. Lewis.
Yeah.
I think Cass was talking about ACT ELAs.
I thought she said, when she said
Yeah.
70, I got lost.
Between the 70, I mean, that one's a little, that one's above, but the ACT score is low.
Of course we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely we are. And you see like the rest of the state is low on that as well with their, it's a statewide, NSCS, the statewide is 59%, but on the ACT of juniors, the statewide is 43%. So number one, everybody should be concerned about that. But yes, of course, that's one of our lowest areas, and so absolutely. So
I'm just curious what the trend is of the last.
That's what I need, like the deep, in detailed NSCS data that Tasha is going to share with us next month.
Okay.
Track
So we
those
might be able to
trends
see
for us.
trends.
Okay.
Yes,
Perfect.
cool, we'll track those trends for us.
The
Yeah.
concern is we're just not reading it deeply anymore.
Oh, we
especially
spend
the
a,
kid,
yeah, so,
'cause we
and this
all-
is like, this is a broad overview, you know, that's what, but our teachers, our interventionists, our principals, curriculum director, special education director, we're talking about data continuously. So yeah, we don't look at one-time snapshot like shows up on the state. We're continuously looking at student data, looking at progress on IRE, looking at progress on maps and whatever else. Some students might be using different things for progress monitoring as well. Those are the things that we're continuously encouraging, reporting, using goal setting strategies with students and things like that. So it changes a little bit in high school. You have to remember like that, the NSCS is completely different. In high school, when you don't have it, it's the NSCS ACT. And so it's really a measure, not even of just career readiness, but college readiness and four-year college readiness. That's kind of what we're looking at more than anything else. So the test is really completely different, other than taking the pre-ACT and taking the John Baylor test prep. Prepping for that looks significantly different than it does all of these other tools that we have in place through. So,
We'll get more in depth with Tasha
Yeah.
when that comes out and we'll see some trends. Why don't we jump ahead
Yes.
to principal's report to knock these two out, and then Mr. Shaden, Mr. Kingston, what's going on. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Kingston first.
Okay, first page that you'll see up there is the Metro information. We try to keep track of that year to year. And just a big jump in our Kickstart classes. That's one of the main things, partnerships that we offer. We do have concurrent enrollment, which old way of saying is dual enrolled classes. But the main one that we hit is the Kickstart classes. So ultimately, you can see that on there now. And that'll be from last year's data, not this year's semester. Next is end of semesters. Next week, Thursday, Friday, finals on those days, and 1:30 dismissals. We had two All-State vocal music honorees, Clayton, doing a great job that way. One thing I think I forgot to add in there is they sing the national anthem on Wednesday, play Action State in Norfolk, so we have a crew going up there for, it's been recognized that way. We've had it a few times. We had an Economic Education Award and money winner, Brantley Fulmer. It was kind of a cool deal. Brought the class back together, as many as we could, recognized him. His dad was here, but kind of surprising too. So he was an essay contest winner as far as economic education goes. One act play was Capital Conference, was in DC West. Their nice theater, and then districts. Oh, that was before Thanksgiving, and then districts was last Friday at Ashland Greenwood's their middle school. So they did a great job. Kind of a smaller cast this year, but cast and crew and everybody did a phenomenal job. Did a cute little play, and in August it's kind of a teenage crush and love story-ish. It was cool. They had good community time. I mean, it was interesting to hear the feedback that they got based on a big production and their smaller kind of production as far as the number of people on the stage. So, cool. Did a good job.
Mr. Kingston, just for a refresher, and maybe for the board,
Yeah.
can you go over, I think for concurrent, we all understand, hey, the teacher teaches a class and you get credit for it, you go to the class. Can you kind of give a brief overview of concurrent versus College Now versus Kickstart, what those modalities look like?
So the Kickstart is basically concurrent enrolled, except we don't own is not a good word. We do not employ the teacher. Metro employs the teacher. So the teacher is a dual enrolled teacher, and they do that through, online through the computer. And they almost mirror our semesters. So they start just a little bit later, and then those classes are actually done. We're done on Friday. But Metro moved that way instead of doing their trimesters to help high school students kind of better align with. That works really well for us. Our concurrent enrollment is have the teacher, and they are an employee of Arlington, and they have the credentials to teach the high school and the college credit. So that's what you'll see at the bottom of that page where that's captured. The gateway to college is kind of, let's see how far out are we from that, from having a student in that. It's kind of a, how do I say it? The student maybe needs a little bit of encouragement to stay in school and whatnot. It's kind of a bridge for them to not be a high school dropout possibly. So we haven't had as many students take advantage of that, just haven't needed to be in that spot. What else do we have? Gateway to college. College now is the students are taking the classes, I think, to jumpstart their college. Just
I don't think they're getting billed credit for those.
what's that?
They don't get billed.
No, it's just Metro credit.
Outside of their curriculum period,
Yeah.
in addition to.
So they would not be getting high school credit for those, but they are getting. We'll see students do that maybe as they start that summer. Go after they graduate. We do have some students who take whatever class that's not a dual enrolled class, but they take it through Metro, and they're getting college credit for that, but not high school credit.
And then on the Kickstart, can you clarify on those, say you take English 101, I'm making this up,
Okay.
and it's all online, so they're going to a classroom here,
Yes.
and it's all via online
Yes.
as part of their daily classes.
Yep. So we have them scheduled to go with your scenario, in a first period class with a teacher, so that they have that time dedicated to work on that class. So ultimately, every Kickstart class that they have a class period of time to work on it. We maneuver the beginning of the semester and then the end of the semester, knowing that there's going to be a gap there where they're finished for about, well, now it's about a 2-week period. So
Are there any of those Kickstart classes that students are taking that any of our teachers in person can teach?
Not the college credit, not the
No.
dual credit. I can't think of any.
I don't believe so, no. Yeah.
So out of these programs, the College Now, Kickstart Online, and Concurrent Enrollment, all are opportunities to get college credit while in high school, is that correct?
Yes.
Those three?
Yes.
And most of those are I know MCC does the program.
Yeah.
A lot of those are also transferable, say, to the university, if you're getting your GED stuff, or your general
Yeah, and
requirements
that's-
out of the way.
Between Metro and whatever university you may be trying to go to.
Metro transfers to all.
We can't guarantee that, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, to give an example, obviously, to work with the university system makes a lot of sense for us, but my child went to, she went to San Houston State in Huntsville, Texas, and they took basically all of her credits that way.
That's
So,
how mine were, that's
Yeah.
awesome. They should have done them.
so say yes for the most part, yeah. Okay.
Those are good numbers.
One other thing, not a safeguard we have in place, but we have a good partnership with Metro, and they have I'll get his title wrong, a college career specialist who comes out every Friday, and he does grade checks. We allow for that. It's a way we want kids to go with a higher GPA. We want A's and B's, hopefully A's in these classes. So we try to have any safeguards that we can have in place, and Tony is that gentleman's name, is one of those safeguards, and he helps us communicate back and forth. He helps us. Here's an example. I'll get the class wrong, but I believe it's a speech class that fills up pretty quick. Well, that time to register was coming upon us, and he knew that it was gonna close quick. He came out on a Tuesday or something like that. We called all the kids in who had registered for that class to make sure they got in the class, and we filled up the sections. So we keep those kind of partnerships there, so even getting our kids access to some of these classes helps to have Tony in this case be on the inside on that to let us know, hey, we gotta get these registered and we can bump that, so he's very flexible that way and works with us. So there's some other finagling behind the scenes that takes place that's important, and we're fortunate to have the gentleman and the crew, Jordan is the lady's name that runs, all the program and everything, to be able to work with, so.
Have you heard any indication from Metro on the cost?
Yeah, I asked that question in our meeting. I think it's a year, is what I'll put it as.
They give us next year, guys, right?
Yeah, she said through the summer of 27
Oh, okay.
is what she said.
For some reason, I thought that was ending next year.
Well, we did, but they gave us the message at this meeting that we had a couple weeks ago. That we're committed to keeping it through 26, 27.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
are you anticipating a COLA style adjustment afterwards or significant because they haven't done it for a while? Like a cost of living, an inflationary adjustment, or you think they're gonna really?
I don't know.
Can't predict that. I don't think-
They haven't,
Yeah, they haven't given us any of that.
because how long has that been frozen?
We haven't paid probably since 2022.
Okay. I see.
I mean, I paid for a couple of Stella's, like her junior year maybe, but not her senior year.
Yeah, I'm for one year off.
No.
So it's been
So,
very nice. It helps, and I'll say, as a parent, balance out the other end of it is your child will get, hopefully, they will be done with their education, whatever pathway that is, in a quicker fashion. So are they ready for whatever that is at 21, 20, whatever? So you balance that out versus they could take fewer credit hours and still, if they have a vision of a four-year university, that typical path. So,
And that's one of the big things that come up, when you talk to parents that have had kids through this, that have done it. It's a huge deal. For what parents put them through, to do that kind of deal, I see probably going to defeat more coming down the road, but to tell you the truth, for what the parents are getting out of this and what the kids are getting out of it, I don't know, it's not going to be a problem. I don't
well,
believe
and
so.
even when we were paying for the credits, it was much less than.
Yeah.
paying.
Oh, absolutely.
Save me a year of college.
and we do want to, we still continue to explore opportunities for, I think our board does a great job, and I hope that we do in listening to students who don't have a four-year pathway as a part of their plan. So when we talk about some of these other connections with Metro, we still want to be able to explore some of those. We got a student do the power sports. We still maneuver that. So while we do appreciate Metro and the things that does for a traditional pathway, we always want to be cognizant of there's other ways to meet the needs of our kids as well who don't maybe have that as a vision for what they want to do. So
Well, I don't think that number count is going to change.
Yeah.
It's going to keep going up is where it's going to go.
Yep. So
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Casey.
do that.
Mr. Shea?
Yeah, good evening. Just put there our activity participation for the winter season, which is quickly upon us here. So, good numbers, right where we're consistently at. This is also the time we kept up on passes from the fall to about current here. A little shy of what we did last year in passes. So, we've seen that number ebb and flow from year to year, but up right about those numbers right there. So a little down. Then a couple highlights. Mr. Finks did a nice job talking about the one-act play. The band was at the village lighting ceremony the day after Thanksgiving on a very brisk, snowy night. So a lot of great families, help make sure that happened for them. Concert's happening currently right now, and then Miss Mason honored, Dr. Anna and August show. There's some fun photos of the folks right there. And then I gave you an update on just the video board update, which you guys asked to do monthly there too. So I had a lot of good conversations as we had more activity in the gym, had more and more different people reaching out, so I'm sending out more information. Haven't had any new commitments at this time, but had a lot of good conversations with local folks. So questions on those things?
With the new sponsor, how does that work with getting their stuff on the wall, like their board up? Is that already up?
Who's up to that?
Good.
Yeah, it's all right.
That was good. So is that going to be something, because like the last time getting the Eagle on there, that was like $500 that came through. Is that gonna be something that comes through again for that ad? Okay,
Yeah, you gotta pay for them.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And we were able to run a commercial for them. They don't have an official production one yet, so we helped produce a commercial for them. Sounds like they have some new expansion at the hospital that they will run a commercial that we'll get an update from them. So get them on board as well. So
Oh, somebody asked me about the old Hall of Fame pictures, plaques, whatever that was in this hallway. I didn't know what the plan was for.
it's a good question. We got them away when we added the new classrooms because they were on the Mrs. Rowland's wall here.
Yeah.
Construction was gonna knock them off and break them. And so we ducked them away. We just need to have a conversation on that and like where we want those to go. We've used that wall a lot lately as a highlight for student performance and things like that. So where does that, I don't want to say retired Hall of Fame folks go, but they're sitting in storage nicely there. They're all ready to go. We just need to discuss like an admin, like where does that come from? Unless you guys have good suggestions too. So
They were just,
I talked to a gentleman Saturday too about it. I said, I promise we didn't throw you.
oh, because that's what they had heard, and they were like, well, they're just gonna throw them away.
No, they're just, we just tucked them away because they were
My
getting.
picture's pretty ugly up there.
Ah, I was looking at it, it's fun.
But yeah, he was just wondering where,
Yeah, what the plan is on that.
Yeah, we just need to discuss this. It's been fun that our different groups have used that wall to create color, highlight the different things that are happening or just content or whatever. We need to find a nice spot. There's probably 4 boards that will have to go back up there, I believe. So, good question.
Something that came up, go over the financials, just for us to understand. I think we got clarity on the gym inspections, on the gym resurfacing, that waxing.
Yeah.
What does that look like for a cycle?
So each floor gets done once a year.
Okay.
So we do the main gym to break up the bill. We do the main gym, which you just saw.
So this is just for one floor?
That's one. Yep. And then this old gym gets done over Christmas break, about a week and a half or so.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yep.
Do you know if they did a lot of repair work on after the inspection?
Are you talking about the sports facility one now, or are you talking
No,
about the sport?
$4,500.
The sports
Sports
facility, the valve?
The hoop inspection, I'd have to see the report that Lawrence got. I probably couldn't speak to that, Steve, without looking at it.
I think Steve's trying to figure out in the breakdown between any fixes versus what they charge for just.
Yeah, what's the standard inspection fee versus $4,500 is that's a lot for an
Yeah,
inspection.
I did not see the breakdown of it, I apologize, so yeah, I'd have to see.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
guys got some.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dr. Moran, thanks for waiting patiently.
Yeah, absolutely. We are a busy place, especially at this time of year. Very excited. Okay, we had our carnival that we do yearly, super fun. Games, activities, food, bounce houses, space cleaning. We raised about $1,800 when it was all said and everything was paid for, so we don't do it as a fundraiser, it's just an experience, it's also not bad. We had some students perform at All-State Children's Choir in Lincoln, so that was a lot of fun. iReady and map testing are up and rolling. We will have those done by the end of this week. and then start pulling data and looking at where we can concentrate our efforts for second semester. K-1-2 concert happened last week, fabulous time. If you were in about the gyms at that time, super cute. Like, there's nothing better than starting the holidays with some little people singing some Christmas songs. So it was lots of fun, lots of leaves and tears. We had some laughter. We had some kids sit down in the middle, all the good stuff. So the snow is here, so I added a couple of pictures of some of our kids at recess in the snow. Okay, the only thing better than starting the holidays, although I did not like the snow or appreciate it this early, some kids making some snowmen and whatnot, and I got to supervise recess, which is always super fun, especially when it's just 10 degrees, which is when you go outside. We did on the first couple days, any kids that had snow gear could go out, and I supervised them, and then you ended up not playing the camp, and the other recess supervisors were in there. So it's good stuff. Working hard on sorting here are your honorees for the elementary for the month of November. So good stuff, great decisions. We are getting ready to celebrate SOAR for the last, I don't know how many weeks they earn bracelets. Remember, if the kids get 150 bracelets, they get to come to movie day, which is on Thursday the 18th. And then we've had tons and tons of generous donations for kids. So anytime, or when they hit 150, they get their name in to choose a prize. And I think about how many kids we have that are there right now. We have enough prizes so every kid will get a prize. We'll pick them out in that order. They get to come and look at all the different things. We have everything from dolls to gift cards to candy to just tons and tons of stuff. So it's going to be a fun December 18th, maybe a bit chaotic, but we just have to survive the 19th, and then they're on break. So it'll be great. We're very excited, and the kids are excited as well. So there we go. What questions do you have? Last one from the elementary.
I had a very concerned member of the community ask me what the goldfish policy was. Theirs had already passed.
Oh, however, the Morgan House currently has 3 that are still alive and kicking. That could use a nice home if anybody were really needing.
I'm not saying it was my fault.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
Asking
Yeah, you
for
could
a
walk
friend.
over. Yeah, I know where that is.
Borrow. Yep, we have a pearl from last year that is like this big. She is the biggest goldfish I've ever seen. And then we've got Gilbert and Fred that are just living their best lives, and they're together with her.
Shasta's gone very beyond already.
Where do you jinx that?
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. We will go back up to agenda item 5, review the annual district plan, Dr. Lewis.
So we've got both attached there. We've got the strategic plan, working document update, and our board district goals. So first we'll kind of go through additions to strategic plan update. What you'll see is we've added more things, and every guiding principle has something in it now. Like last month, there were a couple things that I hadn't added to yet, and then we've added a lot more because we have done more. Academic learning and success. I don't know that we've added anything to there. In the second one, B, administrators and appropriate staff will evaluate the effectiveness of the instructional supports and benefits of MTSS. We've had a couple of PDs since the last time we reviewed this, but we've had a couple of professional development days since the last time we reviewed this, and so we had MTSS and more conversations about that implementation support, along with our external review, which was heavily oriented towards MTSS, and also we reviewed our Marzano model too, so that's added in that area. Academic learning and success or progress updates there. Again, if you look at point A, added the in-service in October, December, January, where we're reviewing the Marzano instructional frameworks and MTSS, working with all the staff. And we do have some new staff that were new to the Marzano, so that's where we're hitting it as hard as we are this year. We haven't had to do that too much, but we looked back and realized how many new staff we had that may not have had the full Marzano training as part of their college education, so we're hitting those a little bit harder than the student, I would say staff that have been here for the last 3 years, or something like that. Need a little bit more onboarding. And it's not new, we had those ones on last month, academic learning success, strategy 1.3. But you will see the addition, point B there, the October and then November DLR focus group meetings, so you have all 3 of those now. So we'll talk about the results of those a little bit later in the board meeting. And then the point C of community engagement meeting 2026, which is also a bullet point that we'll discuss and try and get some dates on the calendars for those to present the findings from DLR and hopefully a little bit more of additional information from them about phasing costs or full project costs, things like that came out of those focus group meetings. Guiding principle 2, the district building climate and culture. I wanted to highlight for you there the 2.1 strategy A, where I underlined, primarily because I have a hard time with crossing things out in Google, and this is a Google newspaper article. I haven't done that since the beginning of this school year because of that change in hands. So what I'm doing instead is sending them the board report every month, so they're getting that out, but I haven't published an article to the public since the change has taken place. So I need to pivot how I'm doing that because I don't know that that's going to reach as many people as it used to. So I was doing that when we started this document, but I underlined it to know that I'm pivoting and doing something different here now.
I have had some older individuals ask about that. Not like that they noticed the change that you are sending the article in to the paper, but that they also noticed that wasn't in there. And I thought they're like, oh, is that what you're doing now instead of that? Like,
Well, it's not
quarterly
instead of,
thing.
I am doing
Yeah.
that because they don't have enough people.
because they're not.
to cover. Yeah, they don't have enough people to come and cover, but yes, I don't know the best way to reach out to that anymore.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's maybe something that we can utilize the town's channel, whatever channel that is, that they have news out on, that might be something to talk to the city with. That's not something that I've ever had, but I know that, yeah, so the town, like the village has a channel that you can put information out on. So, might be worth looking to.
Did you know that there was a channel?
No.
I didn't know that there was a channel.
Yes, the only reason I know about it was because of church.
I'll
So,
follow.
because the church services are replay on X days at X time, blah, 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 yeah. But it's something that the older community knows
So
about.
this has got to be something only, yeah.
It's a secret. I don't know.
It's a well-kept secret. I'll call
Yeah.
Travis tomorrow and ask him
Yeah.
about it, so.
It's a secret.
Knows about the channel.
Oh, yes.
I haven't personally watched
Thank you.
it, but I.
It has like, it's kind of like a slideshow, but then they have like actual videos on there too, like mostly church services.
But I could
It's probably
read-
channel
I could-
2 or.
Yeah, it's something, or like
I
99.
can
I
write
don't
an
know.
article to them instead of sending it to the paper.
Yeah, I have no idea, but so, yeah.
Okay.
An option there.
That's yeah, thank you. It's a good option. And I think the others were on there before. If we go down to strategy 2.2, I'm sorry, were we done with?
Oh, yeah.
Keep on moving through that.
Yeah.
That's a great summary. Strategy 2.2B, we've added the parent and patron group participation in the DLR for the excellent review. So that was good for the parent that involvement in our committee meetings. And definitely, we don't have the full report from how we do yet, but I believe that will break down. That's some of the user. That was good. We should have that before Christmas, they told us. And then strategy 2.3. This did not, I believe, this is probably didn't have much on that last time we went over that. So the onboarding team to determine necessary components based on roles of new staff members. So we did add, expanding our mentoring program. Talked about the focus of adding a master teacher and a content teacher. And so that's the discussion right now, because we added a day at the beginning of this year. So rather than like new teacher oriented onboarding being one day, like expanded 2 days this year, but just through discussions, and then actually probably came out of our external review a little bit, we're talking about that, not just pairing them up with one teacher who is like their touch point, but so a master teacher, which means just someone who's honed in their craft over the years and become very good at teaching, but also then a content expert. So they have 2 touch points, the new staff member, 2. So that's that discussion there. And then if you see point B there, we added all of the pacing guides and curriculum guides are as part of that school improvement process, and now that those are readily available on the website. I think we already have the adoption process in there. And then we scroll down to guiding principle through the district resources. So if we go down to start 3.1, I don't think we've added anything there, but the Metro dual classes that we've talked about already, student teachers from Midland, UNL, and Wayne, and industry connections or alternatively certificated teaching. It's also been really great for us this year. We'll kind of be there.
Those student teachers from Midland, UNO, and Wayne, are just saying that those are the like typical ones that come?
Yeah, that's typically where our student teachers.
But the school is open to whomever, so if someone from Doan wanted to student teach.
Yep.
You don't have to like have an agreement with them or whatever.
No,
Okay,
no, there's no agreement.
those are just kind of what's.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it's almost up to the university how far they will let them go.
Oh,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Because they have to send somebody out to supervise them or to like evaluate them,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
university does, so.
Makes sense.
Um, So they kind of have like a limited circle of how far they will let the students go.
Yep.
The closest ones to us.
Gotcha.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes.
this came up a while ago, but sparked my memory. On our student teachers, there's differences in districts and how they're compensated.
Yes. So, and that's just, that's, I would say, a recent development probably within the last 2 to 3
Yeah.
years. The districts even considered paying student teachers, so some, and it's still not a universal, there's probably still far more that don't do anything than do something. So some pay a stipend, a monthly stipend, some pay a semester stipend, some give them like free lunches or something like that. Some, I don't know, I can't think of the other creative things that I've heard about it, but yeah, so it's becoming common, with the thought that if you get them into your building to student teach, it fills a need. Sometimes they come with, substitute teaching certificates. And then they can help fill some needs, some voids that you have inside for the teacher that they're working with, if that teacher needs to be gone or something like that. And then helps with recruiting them, to your school when you have an opening. And just getting them to visit that way. So we had a student teacher in FCS this fall. We've got a new one starting in 6th grade, you told me, in the spring here. So we have them on a pretty regular basis. I think we had any last year. Last year was like a light year, but usually we have 2 or 3 per year.
And we typically get a lot of Midland students who are doing like practicum work.
A little bit more
It's years and they come in once a week for a couple hours. And so we have 8 different students that are currently in the building doing practicum work like the elementary side. They spend a certain amount of time like with the reading specialty, and then they do a certain amount of time with math. So we have a good partnership with Midland.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of people that are later on in their degrees that have local sub-certificates that stuff for us, so.
Have we had any? I'm trying to think of any from anywhere else over the years.
Student teachers, yeah, that's been pretty consistent. Yep. Probably welcome anybody if anybody's out there. Who wants a student teacher?
Yeah, 3.2, I believe that those were all because we've been doing all of those things since well into the beginning of the school year. And then board governance. So again, we go down to strategy 4.1, A, B, and C. So once I added the annual community engagement meeting, which we've been doing for, I think, 4 years running now. B, we've added those, we have frameworks, accreditation, surveys, interviews, and things like that we did. Some of those other things are already on there. And then again, at point A, there's roll as well. If you scroll on to the bottom, I'm sorry, the next, point 2. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I think my word rotation there should be report to the Board of Education monthly from our principals and superintendents. One of those rotations will report on just a bit along, and then strategy 4.3. You've just that we need to get the contact information for our senator, to our board members. I think you probably all know who it is, and I have all the contact information. But we're talking about the entire board being a bit more active legislatively, which is kind of how I interpret this. Then you should have those follow through that is email contact. And typically, what happens is I will email into you. Will respond or is able to ask questions of me, but I believe she's the person that reads those emails. So for that, I'll begin a little bit more active involved in some of these things. Okay, anyone have any questions? Changes or additions? Again, when you have a retreat, we'll really dive into this. Okay, and then our annual, our goal document. This is a quarterly update on there. And so strategy 0.4 there in the goal area of the budget, not added or changed, just goal 0.4 a little bit. I should have did a red line version, but there was just something about the way it was worded. That to be more about manage the budget responsibly, which I believe we had. And then it had a statement about per pupil cost being in the low 15% or something like that. And I did pull that statement last Thursday, I believe, but it exported as an Excel file that I could not sort, so I couldn't get data out going through all 249 districts and creating a new spreadsheet. So I do plan to get there and tell you exactly where we're at as far as per pupil. I think we are slightly below the state average on that. If you scroll down to community engagement, we had active involvement with community members, patrons, involved with DL focus groups in our external review interview panel. We scroll down to facilities, we have a vision emerging from community engagement, NXP, and partnership with DLR moving forward. So we've had those 3 focus group meetings, and in addition to those 3 focus group meetings, DLR also engaged with teacher conferences and got a separate set of points of view and opinions there. Area of student performance, I think we're really going to talk about that more in depth next month, but I did count on there that with the new release of data, we have that ranked excellent for 3 years running, which is really something to be proud of for our staff and for our students. And then behavioral and mental health, with a lot of people now that we didn't add anything new at this point in time.
Very good. That will wrap up district plan and our strategic plan document. We will go back down and get back on schedule, agenda item 7, superintendent's report. And a lot talked about here, Dr. Rose.
Yeah, we've got quite a few things on here. So I've got the DLR update, first of all. So the document was the initial findings that they have, and so I'm not gonna go through this all page by page and go through the process. Several board members here were included in that process, and so they understand, and we've talked a little bit about what, like it was a lot of choosing environments and active learning and how we want our school to feel and what we want to be able to do with our space. What's important to get to is not all the pictures and all the dots and everything like that, but near the end of the document. I'm sorry, it's long, but this is what you have for me. On page 21 of that document, kind of the different breakdowns of prioritization. So there were two different prioritization strategies. The one on the top was the focus group prioritization, and then the one on the bottom was the parent-teacher conference group, not part of the focus group.
Refresh. Mine is the same thing.
It's very,
It's there.
There it is.
Weird how surveys go, it feels like you go all the way around
yeah.
what you're even talking about, to answer goofy questions, and then all of a sudden, like, oh,
Ta-da.
that kind of makes
Yeah,
sense.
it felt like in the beginning, like we weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
It was like, what are we doing here? And then the next time we go in, they show us all the data that they gathered. And I'm like, oh,
That's
Now
what you're
it
looking at
works.
us. That's what you're doing. like
Yeah.
that.
It's a weird thing.
And then visualizing it in these manners, the way they put it, so they put everything in color bands and you can kind of look at those. So the top one I said is the focus groups where expanded academic pathways, which would be like what we were talking about, CTE renovation and things like that. That popped on top for both groups. Followed by like the entry to like our main entrance, making that look more inviting and appealing to people that are to visit us. Look at it in the entry identity. That was second on the list of the focus group, and it was lower with the other group, or the hallway group. I'm calling them the hallway group because that's where they set up. They set up so we can catch lots of parents in the hallway. With the focus group, flexible learning and collaboration space was kind of third in the band, fine arts performing, and then expanded like athletic space with possibly one room or other community use spaces, dual use spaces. That was kind of like the middle band, and then you saw the other ones. You can kind of go without doing it like too much here. I don't want to sit here and tell you exactly. We look at the parents, the hallway group, the locker rooms, restrooms, the fine arts, the expanded entrance, things like that. We're at the bottom, so there's just kind of a little bit of a shift there. What you see at the top, though, like if you look at it, the CTEs and probably those flexible learnings, those are top there. A little different focus groups for activities, entrance, and expanded comments. So this was kind of the culmination of all three of those meetings. You can scroll through and read everything else that's in there and read about what those colored dots meant when we're putting on those pictures and what the sticky notes meant and everything like that. Next, what we're expecting from DLR is what we talked about, like what is a total project that everybody felt strongly about look like? What would it cost to do the entire thing? What would it cost to do a couple of different things in phases? They'll engage with the board on that and give us enough information so that everyone can engage with the community on that. So there's just a lot in this. I don't want to go page by page through a 28-page document. Those of you that were in the room, from what Jason already spoke about a little bit and how the process, we weren't sure what we were doing, but they were sure what we were doing. Anything else that you want to add to that, or the process, or how that felt, or the conversations that we had with
I think following, once we were done meeting with everybody, it was really nice to talk with Darren, kind of their, the heat lead guy. He was like, we think this is really valuable that you guys are doing this step and kind of taking a step back and figuring out what the long-term goals are, because it helps them prepare, it helps them help us better for more long-term effect. So that was really nice, even though this was a lot longer of a process and the people involved in it might not have known exactly where it was going. It helped DLR a lot with being able to give us kind of a long-term plan. So that's kind of what the big thing that I got out of this is not for today, figuring out what our needs are today, but where we can go with it, in the next 10, 20 years. So that's what they are working on as well. Darren's group, he kind of asked us, what are you looking for when it comes to price, or how many options do you need from us? And that's what I feel like they're working on now, is figuring out what are we looking at total price, and then what are different phases that we could do. So they're trying to break that down so that we can present those options better at the community engagement meeting in January. So it's a multi-step process, but I feel like we really are going in the right direction. It just it unfortunately takes so long to get there because everything's so spread out, because we only meet so often. So
It's focus groups are done meeting.
yes, the focus group now, that was nice, but we had to spread those out a little bit. So it, that took a little bit of time too. So they're great to work with. Answer your questions, and if you have a question, sometimes they don't know what you don't know. So it's, if there's people have questions, they know, they have an answer for it. So it's nice for people to speak up, and that was one of the nice parts about that community engagement with those workshops, is that people ask questions and is able to tell you more about it. So
Well, it's gonna be really interesting with the sticker shock when that, they give a price for the whole thing, or you pick pieces, parts out of the plan.
yeah. Because we
It's
weren't,
gonna be very interesting.
because we weren't talking at all about, the lake. We weren't talking about drainage. We weren't talking about electrical. We weren't talking about any of that. We were talking utopia here.
Yep.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to get all of those numbers. I think the sticker shock is going to be shocking. So, but at least we have a plan. At least we have they have an idea of what we're looking for, what we feel like is important. So, and it was a little shocking to me in the second workshop. He brought back from the second or third, when we compared what the people in the workshop did versus what the information that he gathered from parents and students conferences. It was almost I'm really, really glad that they were able to stay and gather that, because it was very different. Obviously, they were extremely.
Things were the same and a lot were different.
Yeah, a lot of things were completely flip-flopped, like parking. Parents and students are worried about parking, where the staff and board members maybe aren't as much, because we aren't. A lot of times the staff's already here when there's an event, so we don't struggle with parking. Different things like that we forget about. But yeah, that is an issue. So it's something that the community really feels strongly about. So we need to make sure that we are checking in consistently with the community and not getting that closed view of people within the school. So engage the community as much as we can is definitely going to be super important through the whole process.
Lots to digest in there. I would encourage the board to look through the document, maybe a little more in detail on their own, especially all the different little square boxes and comments and things. Get a sense of topics and things like that. But I think this is good information.
Do I remember right, January for numbers? Isn't that what we're thinking?
Yeah, before the January.
Because we're hoping to be able to talk about this kind of stuff at our meeting. And we talked to Darren about that and told him that is the goal. So he's aware.
Okay, next attachment is my early vlog, so you can take a look at that. That's year to date. I told Chase when we met last week to review this, due to the weather, and snow, I ended up taking one extra day that I anticipated over Thanksgiving break. So I had my holiday, my floating holiday and vacation. Were in there, and have the dates on there, so we can do that. NASB and NUSA reports are attached next as well. You can review those. We had a lot of information at the State Board of Education conference for the people that were able to attend that. And NUSA has a report attached there as well. We don't have their state conference until the spring. Some legislative things that we know are coming up, and I have the legislative preview on the morning Wednesday, and I'll be attending, so hopefully a little bit more in depth. But these are the things that we know that we're anticipating will be coming in legislation this year. So we've talked about EPIC before. We'll see if there's any new stomach for that or any change for that. APAN. I'm almost partners with Epic a little bit, but it's different. Both of these are listed kind of together in what we're watching because they would or could be valid initiatives as well. But it really changes evaluation inside of like the TOSA formula. It has some outside changes to our. It's not what we're doing in our school budget, but outside of like so for county evaluations and assessors. So it would stall out some growth and things like that. Hard caps on valuation increases. If you recall, sometimes you have a county where you have 15% increase, and then you have 10, but then you have 8 like that. So that would stabilize and slow growth there a little bit. And then it has that block grant built in for minimum teacher compensation, which would be $50,000, but then it's up to the districts to fund beyond. It doesn't really have to fund any of these things. Which is shocker. I mean, because if you look at that, the hard caps on valuation increases and the block grant, those are two things that we've got to fund somewhere, right? Because if you're stalling out your valuations, that's generating less. Yes. Okay. The next thing we're watching is a retirement, a possible, what they're considering is a 120-day hard rule for no. Right now it's a flexible 180 days, and we're talking for teachers who retire. So right now you have to sit out before you can be rehired by the district for 180 days, but you have some flexibility in there. You can set more than 8 days per month. What they're talking about is switching that to 120 days sit out period, and then you could go work full time for a district again. There would be stay away, can't volunteer, can't come into the building to help out, can't sub at all for those 120 days, which for most districts takes you because if you're depending on when your last day is on your contract in May, June, July, August, September pretty much gets you there. So that gets you in a hiring position or an unlimited sub day position much sooner than the current rules. But you have to make that clean break. Right now. You have to make a break, but it's not that clean. This would be beneficial for people like Jen who have to do the retirement filings and things like that. And then she phone calls and she's like, well, you said that their last date of employment was May 23rd. Yes, it was. Well, why do we have this happening in June? Well, they did a summer 12 hours. But we knew this could be an issue, but they should be able to intermittently do those things, but then retirement gets kind of bent out of shape and you know, they tell you you can, but they don't want you to, and this 120-day hard and fast rule is appealing for that reason. And then it's super easy to say to the teacher who's retiring, but wouldn't mind coming in and helping with summer school. No, you cannot. You have to find somebody else to do that, or else really consider bona fide separation. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. So anyway, there's a couple of different rules on there, different people looking at it in different ways. For me, that would be a plus. I haven't really talked with the team about it yet as far as subs, but then you could have the recently retired teacher be a long-term sub as early as October, which would be really beneficial. We've talked about the budget shortfall plus the additional 500 million that our governor wishes to also cut from the budget. So it's a significant shortfall. Money has been come from And a couple of other things that we're watching. Again, it seems like option enrollment in special education has been coming back. So I don't know what that's gonna look like that this year. We just anticipate there'll be some legislation. The past 3 or 4 years, superintendent pay, has come up, multiple times. And hard tax caps, which right now, we have this, you can ask as much, but if you need up to, you can access for our district, it's like an additional 6% if you need that, there's some talk about that. Being discussed, to discontinue, but we don't really know anything about that either. And then just a little bit of change, in the makeup of the panel there. There's 10 senators that are term limited, which means they cannot run again. There's 2 that have chosen to not run for a second term, and there's 12 seeking re-election. So we know that there will be at least 12 new, and then the 12 seeking re-election could be the same or could be different, could be different. So, that, is it 49, 47? 49 senators? 24 or at least half of so those are the things that we're watching, that will really kind of get deeper as the session begins. Next thing on my report is our school bus delivery date. We don't have a specific date yet, they are still telling us December. We have the purchase order ready to go, so when they come up, we can write the check. Again, that was approved. We've been waiting for a while for that. Still telling us that is coming, it's
I've
before
been
the
in
end of
contact
the
with him,
year.
and he's just said he doesn't have an exact date at this moment, but as soon as he knows it's on its way here, he will.
We know it will be sometime after December 8th. It's not good. Okay, and then we need to consider some dates for the community engagement meeting and for the retreat. So, what we have done, so we might need to look at an athletic calendar too, but what we have done is done that last Monday in January, is kind of how we've scheduled it.
January 26th.
Mr. Kingston, are you looking at our activities calendar?
Yes, I am. This is the last.
January 26th.
There's a possible girls basketball game. NCAA tournament.
That should be the plan.
Conference tournaments that whole week. So that's
Does everybody have a game on Monday?
I don't remember if that's a Saturday play-in and then Monday or not. I think it's a Monday.
I feel like it's a Monday.
There's not a Saturday. Oop. Hold on. There is a Saturday playing game. So Monday should be an everybody game.
What's Tuesday?
It should be basketball.
Boys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, boys.
Yeah.
Basketball and
That week
wrestling.
they alternate.
I don't believe we have anything February 2nd. I don't have wrestling or basketball that week. I don't think there's anything on February 2nd.
I will be in Brea, California that entire week.
The first week of February.
And Super Sub first February 7th.
Yeah, I'm gonna have conference next week, so something's not going to work. You consider a different day.
What about the 19th? I don't believe there's anything.
Talking about February or January. now.
January 19th.
Is that a
It's
holiday?
Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
You have a service that day, but that would be, I mean, that's not interfering.
Not if you're talking, 5 o'clock, it's like junior high wrestling is at Wisner, so.
The downside is that's a quick turnaround from now.
When's the meeting? Is it that
The 12th.
Monday before?
Yeah. I just worry about letting help, getting our plan for the one, so.
Yeah, I think I'm less concerned, I mean, it's December 8th, we can get it advertised, I mean, push it out multiple times, but being ready for it would be grand. We still are waiting for information. Yeah,
So I'd rather
wait.
wait till we have as much information as possible, so that'll be my leaning.
What about 28th?
That
Oh,
whole week,
Wednesday.
that's a Wednesday.
Oh, it's a whole week.
Well, the entire week is conference, but
Oh,
Wednesday nights,
should
they're
be-
not typically,
Yeah.
is it?
That
I
would
mean,
be
that's the question, because otherwise we're going to look into February.
February 16th, right?
Basketball or something.
February
Girls
16th, we're talking
basketball.
about girls wrestling, isn't it? 16th.
So you have sub-districts
Or is that
for
the week after
girls and probably.
16 sub-district girls. State wrestling starts in the next day. Yep. Is Monday, Tuesday, there's to be determined on all that, so. But it is sub-district. Girls varsity sub-districts.
Oh, our goal in the
Actually,
past,
28th.
yeah,
Or is that-
so our, that Wednesday, as of right now, there's nothing planned on a Wednesday typically for activities.
It would just be a makeup day if they had snow or something like that for that conference tournament. Sometimes they lose that day.
Isn't it part of
We
our,
can't, I mean, we have to,
Evaluation.
we're not gonna plan that they would need a snow day. If we wanna do it on the 20th, we can.
Is anybody showing anything on the?
on when?
January
28th.
I'm good with it.
I can readjust my schedule and travel Monday, Tuesday, all day that day. And back. Just can make it easier for everybody else.
Yeah, that'll be your call, Steve.
Yep.
I think trying to keep it that last week of January would be important because that is one of the things that we are trying to establish with the community.
Okay, so why don't we tentatively plan on Wednesday, January 28th?
So,
Let's say 6 or 6:30.
It's the 6:30 to 8. I think that's fine.
Okay, 6:30.
Now, the last 2 years, we've used NASB.
That was my next question. What are, so I'm trying to think, most everybody, and I'm Steve, that you were not here, has gone through a cycle without NASB doing community engagement, and then with NASB doing it. I like the structure of when we do it with NASB. It seems like it's less just a listening session, which is what it seemed like was previously, but I can get this thoughts.
the public felt more heard when we had NS the last time.
It feels like an outside group is helping.
Yeah,
So it's out of our, we're not always in control. You know, everybody.
it felt like more of a discussion.
Right.
Rather than like a lecture. Would that be something, because my understanding is that our goal is to talk more about the facilities and our discussion with DLR. So would that be something that we could discuss with DLR and see if they would be willing to facilitate, or how that would work?
If they didn't facilitate it, they would present their findings.
Yeah.
Isn't that-
I think it's over where we're at with DLR, because I don't want to give the
Yeah.
public perception of something that may not be happening.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on where we're at with DLR.
Mhm.
I think we just evaluate in January where we're at with DLR and what they come up with, because they can come up with something and you look at it like, well, it was good talking to you. So,
Yeah.
I think we have, and I would recommend NASB take the lead, maybe DLR be there.
Do it kind of together with
Uh,
NASB
for
and
maybe
DLR.
listening purposes.
Yeah.
If applicable.
I will reach out to them and see if they would facilitate communication. See where forward at with DLR. Because we could maybe do, NASB run their process like they do. DLR, maybe give them 30 minutes at the beginning of November, depending on how much information we have from.
And that was something that Darren had kind of asked about too, to making sure that we fill him in, that that's when our community engagement meeting is, so that they have like a hard.
I do think we wanted a hard information before that.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
for sure, but that way they can say, okay, you need X amount of time to go through this, so we need, so they know what our plans are.
And then board retreat, we have typically done early in February.
Yep.
That's a Wednesday too. A week later, is that,
I will be going.
you will be gone a week later?
I think Shannon, you have conferences that week, in February, first.
It's February 11th.
Yeah, parent teacher
We have our
conferences
parent-teacher
here.
conferences, yeah. So we do it now. But what is that? Is that girls' residences? Girls and boys?
25th of like.
Probably okay. On a Wednesday.
Okay, nope, good. Nothing on here.
Yeah.
We could look into March though, if that one's something.
Or we could look at a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We don't have to do it Wednesday.
Or Monday.
Tuesdays are pretty full with basketball things, it looks like. I was just checking some
That
of
sounds,
those.
they're just up in the air, the trouble.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
I'd always be in favor of Monday.
What is it, Monday the 16th? Like, on top of that.
We had something on the 16th. Yeah.
Monday there's basketball, girls, something.
What about Monday the
So-
23rd?
Again, basketball, what's that, boys?
Sunday Street Board.
What about
We go
21st?
Any other subdistricts?
20, what was that?
Or
24.
Yeah, that's-
Same thing.
We don't know sub-district wise.
So the 18th or the 25th?
I thought we had
18th, sorry, 18th was girls wrestling.
25th would
25th.
be if we're looking,
Yeah.
Shannon, you had something on
Yeah.
Okay.
You have, okay. March, Monday and Tuesday should be free, the 3rd.
I am in Texas for a week for business meetings there.
Yeah, listen to you guys, I live very life.
You
I
do.
can kind of make whatever work, that's not, as long as the girls basketball game,
Yeah.
I'm good.
That's what I'm like, if there's just basketball, that's,
Kind of boring.
So on basketball, let me ask this, because it's different. We're not asking the community to come, so this is a little different.
Yeah.
So in girls or boys basketball, who would have commitments on each to maybe better understand that?
he's got girls and I got boys.
Yep.
Got it.
But here's the thing, too, if we have something going on and it works for everybody else, I'm just not gonna be there.
Right.
If you're missing one game, it's not really that big of a deal, but a couple of these are more like, conference and district, different
Yeah.
stuff like that are kind of bigger games. If it was a regular,
Syracuse, I'd be all right.
yeah,
Game.
yep, same, 'cause I'm pretty sure we can go to Syracuse this year.
Good away game.
Yes.
That's the way.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Promise in an hour, they've done.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. I understand. Yep.
I guess I should have 20 minutes or.
And we did ours later last year,
Yeah, we had. Snow delays.
so.
We had like some weather last
This is for the retreat, correct? That's what we're running
year.
about?
Yeah, we're talking.
What does March 16th look like? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
That is like a
Wide open.
week, basically, there's track meet at the end of it,
March
end of that week. So 16th, March 16th would be,
Anybody?
Nope, please don't do it Tuesday. We host Quiz Bowl at 4.
Okay.
So,
Monday the
Cool.
16th.
Monday the 16th
Monday
of
the
March.
16th.
Conference
would be great.
football or
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we'll do
March 16th.
March 16th.
All right.
Okay.
Block location to be determined. That was. All right.
Did you say 5?
Yeah, we usually start that on 5 p.m. Monday nights work. These,
We'll just figure out a place.
I was
Okay.
sitting here, I don't want to start things.
Okay.
Okay,
Item 8, committee and legislative report, 8.1.
I think we kind of hit that.
Yeah, we already did,
So
buildings and
that's
grounds.
what that attachment was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just make sure, yep, under there.
So I don't think we need to talk about the finance again either because we did that. Unless you guys want to say anything for the regular meeting record. I've got notes from our finance committee meeting, which was just a review of the.
Yep, yep, so we reviewed 8.2 finance, which you'll see here. Very shortly, we have that as an open meeting, call the board before the regular meeting. And then 8.3, professional development sharing, Dr. Lewis, I'll turn this over to you.
Yeah, I placed this on here in case, because I showed a lot in my report of what I had picked up from our conference as well, but Shannon and Cass were there as well, and attendance and session, so give them, an opportunity to talk about some of the things that they learned at the conference, that they wanted to share.
I went to a session for NSA, and it turned out to be the entire meeting was just about football. And the classifications for football and complaining about the super teams in football and football. So that was that.
People are passionate about.
Yeah. And then I went to another one that wasn't exactly what it was billed to be, but just learned about some English as a second language thing, community outreach for families that don't speak English. That's what I got out of it.
I went to one about like certifications within our not our certificate, our admin team. One of them was they focus a lot more on the director and how there's so many different certifications that they can have, and they have like a small group. Not really a small group. There's like a group throughout the whole state that gets together and questions, and they're like their own little club. Nice to know that there's a lot of like reinforcement there within things that are always changing. So that was interesting. I sat in on the Brady Public Schools does a thing called Circling Up. And it was super, super interesting. It has like they literally meet in a circle. So there's nothing in between them. There's no table, it's just chairs. So there's nothing blocking you. And you can have face-to-face conversations. They do it with kids and adults. They do it with the teacher facilitating, with the kids facilitating. It's throughout the whole entire school at every level. And at one point throughout the day, every single student is circling up with someone. So it could be like their typical group is like 6 to 8, because that's where people feel like the most comfortable. But they can do them in as big as 100 people at one. Every level is a little different. So in elementary school, they talk about what's your favorite pizza topping. But in high school, they talk about like what's something that's happening in the locker room, or what's something that you're not feeling comfortable with. And they said it has changed their like school environment tenfold. It's completely shifted, not only just the school, but now it's trickled into the community. People are able to ask for help more. People like the community feels more involved with the school. So it's something that's been really, really positive for Brady. And they're a similar size Arlington, I would say. They're probably a little bit smaller, but they've done an awesome job with it. And listening to the ladies talk about it they were so passionate, and it's a whole it's a whole program that they're pushing out to other schools too. So if you need a way to bring your school together, it started with their board. they started the activity with their board and then it went into their school. So it was really interesting and definitely something that it could be a like retreat thing for us. That's where it started out with them. But it was really cool. And then I sat in on some legislative things the very last session of the day. That was interesting to hear two different law firms kind of going back and forth about all of the antics. It was very interesting. And then one of the things that I listened in about with legal, because I feel like I've not done a good job with following the legal aspect of things. It's just like so boring. Was they were talking about the possibility of the state passing the base law of the base pay at 50,000. We talked a lot about that and all of the ramifications that could happen with that. So that's opened my eyes back. I didn't know that was a thing that was going on. So yeah, just going in and getting lots of legislative updates. And that is always good because I don't like looking at those. So it was a good meeting. It was a good day. Yeah.
I just want to, I mean, I think we had some good keynotes, we had some interesting speakers, some people that have accomplished incredible things against adversity, against all odds, and so they're always inspirational. What was it, 50 triathlons in 50 days?
Yeah, and then 100 in 100 days. Yeah.
100 days.
And Dr. Lewis had to announce people. She did a great job. She didn't fall down on stage and she didn't mess up anybody's names. Way to go.
I try not to. If I did, I said them quickly enough that nobody noticed.
No, it was good.
Alrighty, agenda item 9, new business, and 9.1, discuss, consider, and take necessary action to approve financial statements for 2024-2025 fiscal year. So obviously before the regular meeting, we had a overview with our new CPA auditor. Board got in-depth kind of overview of how those things look like, and some things we'll pretty much all see going forward based upon kind of school our size and some rules. But I thought it was similar to our past, but maybe I don't know why. I thought this audit would be a little easier to read than the last one.
Yeah.
But
It's more like normal accounting, kind of, sort of,
yeah,
slightly.
so
Still school.
I think it's presented in a manner that's a little bit easier to digest, a little easier to understand, and I think she did a really good job explaining it, so it's in a very easy to understand book.
so I'm glad that they work with a lot of school districts. Help, because sometimes we get in our own bubble, we don't have comparison. So I think that helps as well. So, but I'll make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 financial statements as presented.
I'll second.
Need a second. Any discussion at all? Let's go.
Steve Slyhighs,
Yes.
Sharon Walmart, Jason Art, Bessie Plessner,
Yes.
Chase Crowder.
Yes.
Brian Walker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Agenda item 9.2, discussion, consider and approve superintendent evaluation. So the board, all the board members should have received several documents from me via NASB and our new evaluation tool. They added a couple new things in there this year in the area of gold. So you should receive those 3 documents. Keep in mind, that is a personnel document, so it can't be shared with anybody. It's classified, so just keep it to yourself. I hadn't received any further questions from any board members from sending that late last week, but if anybody does have any further questions that they want to discuss with me or Dr. Lewis or anything, feel free to reach out to whoever's applicable. You won't see anything attached here. For reference, the document, one of the documents that NASB recommended or advised you could attach to the meeting, we decided not to. To be honest, I felt it a little inappropriate, being it goes a little more in depth than I think it should for a public document on personnel and evaluations, regardless where the evaluation falls. So that's why you won't see that attached, but you have a copy of that as a board member. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And I will, and myself and Dr. Lewis will sign that and that'll go in her personnel file. So just a quick overview on that, but if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I think the tool is much better than when we weren't using NASB's evaluation tool. I know most of the board for Jason, myself, and Shannon definitely. Did you guys use?
No, we had the tool.
So you didn't have the old one at all? Okay,
Uh-uh.
yeah, yeah, it was not. So this makes it a lot easier on the front end.
That's right, yeah, because we've been doing this, what, 5 years?
Yeah. The previous one was, it didn't buy a lot of direction, I think is the best way to say it.
And that was better than it was 10 years ago.
And then the readout that this gives you is, it accumulates everything and it's just easier to cipher through. So it's a good tool. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent evaluation for 2025.
Second.
Jen, sorry, it's not, I know it's not in there.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Let's vote.
Shannon Wolbach.
Yes.
Jason Starr.
Yes.
Cassie Flessner.
Yes.
Jason Craddock.
Yes.
Ken Walker.
Yes.
Steve Slaggs.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. With that, we will adjourn the meeting at 8:39 p.m. And I believe we have 2 students that need to be signed off. So if you guys just want to bring those up to any of the board members, we'll get you a signature on that.
They
I
have to sign
Oh,
it.
Yep.
They
I
have to sign
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Thank you.
I would. Oh, yeah.